Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take complex stuff books, ideas, research, and basically boil it down to what you really need to know. And today, we're looking at a classic. It's Dr. Spencer Johnson's Who Moved My Cheese. You know that little book from '98? Takes like an hour to read.
Yeah, it's tiny, but its impact was huge. Still is, really.
Exactly. So our mission isn't just revisiting some old self-help thing. It's about pulling out the core insights on adapting, dealing with uncertainty, disruption, the stuff we're all facing.
Whether it's your job, your industry, or just life-throwing curveballs.
Right. We're looking for the shortcuts to being more adaptable. How does this simple story help?
Well, its power is in its simplicity, I think. It uses this parable format with 4 characters to show how people react to change. And you only need 2 key ideas to get it. First, there's the maze.
Okay, the maze. That's like life,
Yeah.
your career,
Yeah.
your environment.
Yeah, exactly. It's the world you operate in. Your
Yeah.
company, your market, your relationships, whatever.
Got it. And the second thing,
That's the cheese.
the cheese. That's what everyone's after.
Right. It's your goal. It could be success, money, happiness, security, maybe even just that feeling of comfort.
So if the cheese moves, uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. Your stability feels threatened. The whole story is really about how different personalities handle that exact moment.
Okay, so let's meet the players.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these characters? There are 4 main characters split into 2 pairs. First, you've got the mice. Sniff and scurry. Sniff and scurry. Sniff and scurry.
Oh.
Okay, mice, what are they like?
Pure instinct. They don't complicate things. They don't overanalyze. He sniffs out the direction of change early. And scurry, he just scrambles into action. They move.
Simple.
Yeah.
Effective, maybe?
Often, yeah. And importantly, even when they find a huge stash of cheese, they stay alert. They keep checking things out.
Okay, so who's the other pair? They're called the little people.
Mm.
Em and Haw. They're more like us, maybe. More complex. How so?
Well, they think, they analyze, they have emotions, they get attached to their cheese. They found this great spot, Cheese Station C, loads of cheese.
They got comfortable.
Very comfortable, him especially. He starts feeling like he deserves that cheese, like he's entitled to it, because finding it was hard work.
Entitlement. That sounds familiar.
Doesn't it? Haw's a bit more hesitant, maybe sees things changing, but he gets stuck too. They both stop paying attention to the supply dwindling.
Unlike a mice.
Right. Sniff and Scurry noticed. They kept checking. Hem and Haw, they just assumed the cheese would always be there.
So the first big takeaway seems to be about complacency. When things are good, you got to stay sharp.
Absolutely. Are you, the listener, identifying with your current success so much that you stop looking around? Or are you still sniffing out the changes happening just outside your comfort zone?
That's a good question. Because we find something good, a job, a routine, whatever, and just assume it'll last forever.
But the story's core message is, it won't. Change is inevitable.
And then comes the disruption.
Exactly. One morning, they arrive at Cheese Station C.
Thank dawn, the cheese is gone.
Completely empty. And this is where you see the split, the great divide in reactions.
What do Sniff and Scurry do?
No hesitation. They probably weren't even that surprised because they'd noticed it dwindling. They just look at each other, shrug, and head off into the maze to find new cheese. Instinct takes over.
No whining, no denial.
0. But Hem and Haw, it's total shock, panic, anger.
Okay, tell me about him first. What's his deal?
Hem is denial personified. He's furious. Who moved my cheese? He keeps asking that. He insists it's unfair, it should come back. He feels victimized.
He's completely resistant, stuck.
Totally stuck. And he gets angrier and weaker staying there. He represents that refusal to accept reality. You mentioned sunk cost earlier.
Yeah, the feeling that you've invested so much you can't possibly walk away, even if it's failing.
That's him. The longer he waits by the empty station, the more entitled he feels and the harder it is to leave.
And Haw, you said he's a bit different.
Haw is torn. He's scared, definitely. Scared of the empty station, scared of getting lost in the maze looking for new cheese. But he also starts to realize that just sitting there isn't working. Hem's negativity is draining.
So Haw embodies that internal battle. Fear versus the need to act, precisely.
Yeah.
And the book really hammers this point home. Fear is the biggest thing holding you back. Resisting change doesn't solve anything. It just makes the suffering last longer. Hem is paralyzed by fear and anger, whereas Sniff and Scurry just moved.
They moved. Haw eventually moves. The story contrasts paralysis with action.
But is it always that simple, like change or die? Sometimes maybe Hem has a point. Maybe the change is unfair, or the new path is genuinely worse.
That's a fair question. The parable doesn't really dive deep into the justice of the change. Its focus is more on the practical reality. The old cheese is gone. Whether it's fair or not doesn't change that fact. So waiting is also a choice, a potentially bad one.
A dangerous one. Haas starts to figure this out. He realizes he's building up the fear in his own head. The maze isn't necessarily terrifying. It's the idea of the maze, the unknown, that's paralyzing him.
Okay, so that realization is his turning point.
It is. This leads us into Ha's journey, which is really the core of the book's practical advice.
Right, the wisdom of Ha, what happens? Well, he finally decides that staying put, starving with him, is actually scarier than facing the maze. He laughs at himself, at how fear controlled him, and then he takes that first step, out into the dark corridors.
Must have been terrifying.
Probably. But something amazing happens almost immediately.
What's that?
Just the act of moving, of doing something, starts to lessen the fear. He realizes he feels better taking action, even uncertain action, than he did sitting still in fear.
That's a huge insight. You don't wait for the fear to go away before you act to make the fear go away.
Exactly. Action generates courage, not the other way around.
So as he explores, he starts leaving messages behind. For him.
Yeah, like motivational graffiti on the maze walls. These writings on the wall are basically the key takeaways, tracking Ha's mental shift.
Okay, what does he figure out? Well, one of the first is pretty blunt. He writes, if you do not change, you can become extinct.
Whoa.
Stark. Survival 101, pretty much. Adaptability isn't optional, it's essential. Then he starts tackling the fear directly. He writes, what would you do if you weren't afraid?
Ah, I love that one. Such a powerful question to ask yourself. It shifts your focus from the obstacle to the possibility. It really does. And as he keeps moving, finding little bits of cheese here and there, gaining confidence, the messages become more action-oriented, like movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese. Oh, makes sense. You won't find anything new if you stay in the same old empty spot. He's proving exploration works.
Right. And he also notes the immediate psychological benefit. He writes, when you stop being afraid, you feel good. He finds this sense of freedom and energy he's lost while clinging to that old cheese station C. So he eventually finds new cheese.
He does. He finds Cheese Station N, where Sniff and Scurry have already been enjoying a huge new supply for some time.
Because they moved instantly.
Exactly. Ha's journey shows it's possible to adapt even if you hesitate, but moving sooner is definitely better. He learned not just to find new cheese, but actually started to enjoy the process of change itself.
Meanwhile, still stuck back at the old station.
The implication is yes, paralyzed by his own resistance.
Okay, so if we distill all this down, decades later, what are the core actionable lessons for navigating change today? The story seems to push for simplicity, right? Don't overcomplicate, just move.
That's the essence. We can pull out maybe 6 key takeaways, sort of a blueprint for adaptability.
Let's hear them.
Anticipate change. Be like Sniff. Always be sensing shifts in your environment. Don't get blindsided because you are too comfortable. For you, that might mean reading industry news, noticing market trends, seeing what skills are becoming outdated.
Stay alert. Don't assume things will stay the same. Got it. What's number 2?
Adapt quickly. Once you see the change or once the cheese is gone, move. Be like Scurry. The book says the quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese. Don't mourn the past for too long.
Letting go. That's hard, but crucial. Okay, third. Third addresses the hem and haw inside us. Don't let fear hold you back. Remember Ha's discovery. Action shrinks fear. Don't wait to feel brave. Act your way into feeling brave. Take a small step. Action is the antidote. Makes sense. Fourth.
Keep moving and exploring. Progress doesn't come from waiting for a perfect plan. It comes from trying things, exploring new paths, even if they seem uncertain. Test things out. Take that course. Have that conversation.
Constant exploration beats waiting for certainty. What's fifth? Fifth is about mindset. Enjoy change. Ha eventually learned this. Try to see change not just as a threat, but as an opportunity, an adventure. What new things can you learn? Where might this new path lead that the old one never could? Reframing change is positive. That's powerful. The last one.
Stay ready. Adaptability isn't a project you finish, it's an ongoing state. The new cheese won't last forever either. The maze is always changing. So you need to keep that curiosity of Sniff and the readiness to move of Scurry. Always be prepared for the next shift.
Wow. So anticipate, adapt quickly, conquer fear with action, keep exploring, enjoy the ride, and stay ready for more. It sounds so simple laid out like that.
It is simple in concept. The difficulty, of course, is in the execution, especially when emotions like fear and attachment get involved.
Right. This deep dive really highlights how that little parable from decades ago is maybe more relevant than ever. Resisting change, clinging to what was, it just leads to frustration. You end up like him, stuck at an empty station while others move on.
Which brings us to a final thought, maybe a challenge for you listening. Given that change is constant, inevitable,
Hmm.
where in your own life right now might you be acting a bit like him?
Oof. Good question. Where are you stuck?
Where are you waiting for the old cheese to come back, maybe denying that things have shifted? And building on that, what's one small step, just one tiny movement you could make today to be a little more like Haw, or even Sniff and Scurry?
Think about Haw's question. Exactly. Ask yourself, what would you do if you weren't afraid? A really powerful prompt to end on. Food for thought. Thank you for joining us on the Deep